It's 8-bit, you little shit. That's right, punk. Just rage and quit. I don't care, don't give a fuck. It is time for me to go level up. It's 8-bit, you little shit. That's right, punk. Just rage and quit. I don't care, don't give a fuck. It is time for me to go level up. So y'all might remember a couple months ago, I talked about a video game based on the Cheetos mascot Chester Cheetah Too Cool to Fool. Well, as it turns out, there's actually several video games based on multiple different big fast food chain mascots. So, because it's such an original concept, I decided to do a video talking about some of the key highlight ones. Keep in mind, there's a bunch of these out there, and I don't know if I'll eventually end up doing some of these other ones, but I just wanted to do the ones that I thought were pretty fucking funny, so with that out of the way, let's start. First one I got up is Yo Noid on the NES, based on the Domino's mascot, the Noid. So in this game, the Noid is going into New York City, which of course looks like this. And very fucking creepily enough, the Trump Tower is still there. It's just like how Trump was in Home Alone 2. Trump is actually in this game. He's actually the final boss, believe it or not. The whole game is just your typical NES platformer, except you're the Noid and you're going up against these fucking things. Yeah, and then you get to the first level boss, which isn't some kind of big platformer fight or anything like that. No, this is more like a strategy game where you have to pick a bigger number against your opponent, who's just a recolor of you, although honestly he looks more like Pink Guy from Filthy Frank to me, and I'm totally okay with that. But you're supposed to pick a bigger number and eat more pizzas, I guess, so that you can boost your pizza meter. That's what those things is right there. And yeah, this is pretty much every single boss fight, except they changed the color of the Noid that you're up against in each boss fight. Yeah, that's all that really needs to be said. Except one more thing about Yo Noid.
Yo Noid? I guess just calling it the Noid didn't have enough pizzazz to it. I'm not sure what the thought process was behind this, but it makes as much sense as calling my show Yo Irate Gamer. Yo.
There we go. That's all that needed to be said. On to the next game. Now, if you can believe this, there's actually a video game based on 7-Up. And you know how 7-Up has the little red dot on its logo? They decided to make a game where that was the main character. There's actually two 7-Up games. You got Spot Goes to Hollywood and Cool Spot. Now, compared to Yo Noid, this one has better graphics, but that's because this was on the SNES, so there was an obvious jump in terms of the graphics. And while I would say that that automatically makes it a great game, there's one thing that weighs it down: everything else. It's a typical platformer, and you're supposed to go up against generic enemies like crabs and worms and mice. Like a lot of these other rush job games, it feels like this didn't need to be a game connected to 7-Up, but just because, well, fuck it, you can make a video game about everything and anything, they just decided, okay, kids game, platformer, red dot from the 7-Up logo, make it. That way we'll totally sell more cherry and pomegranate flavored 7-Ups. With Yo Noid, I only played like one level. With Cool Spot, I made it to at least 3 levels because it's not that hard a game. And I could have beaten it, but after 3 levels, I'm like, fuck this shit, I ain't continuing this. Next up, we got Sneak King for the Xbox 360, based on everyone's favorite, the Burger King. Everybody loves Burger King, that's why everyone put it in the fucking bottom tier when everybody did their fast food tier list. Y'all remember that? That was a long-ass time ago. That was 2019. Apparently, there actually was a Burger King game back during the Atari era, but this game, I do vaguely remember them advertising back in the day, and this is a fucking stealth game where you're playing as the Burger King, trying to go around and give people burgers from Burger King. Like, I get it. The reason they made it was to try and sell shit, obviously. This was just a big promotional tool. I think they even sold this game at Burger King as like a Happy Meal toy or whatever. They didn't call it Happy Meal, obviously. They didn't have that shit trademarked. But just the fact that this exists, there's a Burger King game where you're fucking sneaking around. It looks so stupid looking. I think the only thing that needs to be said is that this is an unintentional horror game because of how fucking terrifying the design of the Burger King is. Like, especially while you're sneaking around the neighborhood. It's like they originally wanted this to be a Subway game. So going back to beverages and going back way before the NES days, we actually got one of my homeboys, my home slices. We got the Kool-Aid Man and his Atari 2600 game. Because yes, they made Kool-Aid Man games games, and they also made Kool-Aid Man comics, apparently. And get this, there's actually a connection. There's actually a reoccurring storyline, obviously. This is in some fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe level shits, because you're playing as the Kool-Aid Man and his arch nemesis, these evil yellow alien things with extended tongues called Thirsties that want to get rid of Kool-Aid and all forms of tasty drinks. I just want to bust a cap in those fucks, because you know what? You don't take away my damn Kool-Aid. Just like a lot of these other games, just the fact that this exists it's fucking my brain. It's blowing my mind right now. I cannot fucking believe it. Like, I know some people would talk about like the graphics or the gameplay. I mean, it's an Atari game. It's like there's only one thing you can do. You go up and down, or you have some kind of thing that you can do with the button. That's it. And the graphics, I mean, just look at them. They're perfect, obviously. Pixar is envious of these graphics. But the Thirsties. But you know what's even better than the Kool-Aid Man? Motherfucking Pepsi, son. And that's where we get to the ultimate classic, Pepsi Man. So from what I can tell, Pepsi Man is a Japanese exclusive PlayStation game, and you're running around as the titular Pepsi Man, and you're rolling around trying to help get people their Pepsi, because apparently all the Pepsi is just gone. Clearly there was a missed opportunity for some crossover, because the Thirsties came and took the Pepsi. So he's just running around. This game is very Japanese, as it were. A lot of these Japanese games have running as a mechanic, or you're just running and you're trying to make sure that you can fit into certain spaces, or that you don't get like knocked off course or whatever. That's exactly what this game has. And then there's a part where there's a giant Pepsi can, like it's Indiana Jones or some shits. But now let's bring this all full circle to the OG of selling out. We got Ronald McDonald. Now, there's actually a couple different McDonald's games. There was some anti-drug game called McKids on NES, I think. And then there was another one that I think was for SNES or Sega Genesis. It was Mick and Max Global Gladiators, which honestly is better than the game we're going to be talking about, because it had a fire-ass soundtrack. Ouch! Fuck!
Go, digga. Yeah!
But the game I wanted to talk about was McDonald's Treasure Island Adventure. And this one, well, it's very Sega Genesis. I mean, you look at the graphics. The graphics, they're good. They're very good. For Sega Genesis, they look good. You know, a lot of the backgrounds admittedly kind of look like they were stolen from, like, Sonic or, like, any of those other Sega Genesis era platformers. But, yeah, you're just going around as Ronald McDonald, and you have magic, apparently. And, fuck, man, there's really not much to say about this game other than it's just a platformer with Ronald McDonald. And you know what? It feels like we kind of come full circle. We got an NES-era platformer with the Noid. Now we come full circle to Sega Genesis with another platformer with Ronald McDonald. I would recommend this game just for how fucking funny it is, but man, I can't even go that far. You know why? I'm still pissed at what McDonald's has done to my homeboy, Rucka Rucka Ali. I ain't forgetting that.
Ronald McDonald, you owe me some free fucking chicken nuggets, nyucka! You just fucked with the wrong motherfucker!